It's 2 minutes after the hour, so we'll get started. This is Jim Morentz of the SABER community, and welcome everyone today. Very interesting set of topics. One of them, we happen to have an opportunity to introduce some new SABER technologies and show you how they are applied not only in emergencies every day, but in the coronavirus outbreak that is taking place right now. And you'll learn about our focus on business awareness for the coronavirus outbreak. So today we're going to take a look first, since we always have a few new folks, a quick overview of SABER. We'll take a look at those new map technologies, and then a new tool set called My Plans that's part of the mobile app information repository that we'll be using to create increased business awareness. Conclusion, we'll open the mic for you. But in the meantime, if you have a question, you can raise your hand on your little panel there that's on your screen, or send a question in. And a note that this session is being recorded. So let's start out with a SABER overview. Only slide with lots of words on it. It's the reason behind SABER. And it's simple. The longest a business is out of business, the less of a chance there is that that business will ever reopen. So we believe that life-saving is the priority to begin with, but getting business back in business ought to be the very next priority. SABER was created by the private sector to make it easier for people who are trying to get their businesses back in business to report on business disruptions and restoration status. And they do that in order to help government understand where the greatest needs are. And we accomplish that by providing accurate and timely information. SABER was founded as a nonprofit by the organizing group of big companies that you see there, really inspired by the Florida Division of Emergency Management. And the mission is very straightforward. It's to influence government recovery priorities, first of all, and then to enable business-to-business collaboration using our accurate and timely information, with the goal of helping businesses to stay open longer in an emergency and get back in business faster. The membership of SABER supports FEMA's new ESF 14 for infrastructure and private sector by providing status in 3 different lifelines from our members who are in the food, fuel, pharmaceuticals, hotels, home repair, and other businesses that feed into the lifelines which are supported by FEMA's ESF 14. SABER itself is award-winning. This past year, we were a finalist for the Best Disaster Preparedness and Resilience Program from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The year before, won the Partners in Preparedness Award for Public Awareness from the International Association of Emergency Managers. And before that, FEMA's Individual and Community Preparedness Award for Technology Innovation. So, with that as background, how's it work? First of all, at the core is a set of information sharing technologies developed by the Department of Homeland Security. I happen to have led the team that developed that several years ago. And we have since then taken that technology and turned it into an open source set of software that's run by the community now. SABER uses that technology. One thing that technology does is allow us to create a fully automated connection to a business. The second thing is that we can bring in just about any information from a spreadsheet. Thus, if that's the way that a business is currently operating their status reporting, sending a spreadsheet up to their executives, we can take that same spreadsheet, convert it into standardized information, and put it as part of SABER's status. Third way is, in partnership with the commercial companies Spot On Response, we have a mobile app. They develop for command center operations and business continuity. They let us use it in a number of different ways, and you'll be seeing some of those. all three of those ways are designed to move the information into the SABER XchangeCore, which converts it into many different formats that are then used by other organizations, whether they're websites or their software or whether it's maps, doesn't matter. But my favorite copy down there being a free copy of Google Earth. We've been doing this for a while, lots of examples of success, and this is just sort of an illustration of the different ways that SABER information makes it into many, many different organizations' tools. Most important point, that they use every day. We don't want, unless they don't have something, we don't want somebody to have to say, oh, what was that SABER website? We would rather have them take that SABER information and put it into a tool that they already use so that it's only one little click away. The key to SABER is that this is vetted information. There are no rumors here. There are two different types of information. One is authoritative sources. This is provided by the company about their operations, with approximately now 70,000 plus locations across the country, from members of major national footprint organizations, and increasingly through some of the partnerships that we're going to describe, regional operations in both convenience stores and food stores, as well as lots of state emergency management. That number is actually now well over 30, and a dozen different federal agencies. So consider that information the authoritative information. Then there's something we call a proxy. A proxy says I can give you some fact about that business location, and you can interpret it as you wish. Hughes provides satellite transceiver status for 50,000 locations. Healthcare Ready, through a reporting formats that they use, out from 66,000 different prescriptions selected of those pharmacies. Neither of those say that this store is open or closed. Hughes says this location is not transmitting using its satellite. The Healthcare Ready locations say no prescriptions have been written here in the last 12 hours. We use that as a proxy for being closed. And we then interpret that if there is a pharmacy in the same shopping center as a Lowe's, and Lowe's is an authoritative closure, the pharmacy or the gas station or the fast food store is a proxy closer, that probably gives it an enhanced chance that the proxy is correct to be interpreted as closed. But we distinguish between those and thus vet our information very carefully. So now, let's take a look at some of the new things that are here. The first one being the new technologies that are available to you. It's the SABER map, and it's used every day in an emergency. And I'm going to jump live now. And let's come up here to the SABER map. And we get to the SABER map through the SABER website, saberspace.org. Hopefully you've all been there, see all our members that are there. And SABER map up in the upper right-hand corner. We'll take a look at this. And this is very different than what you have seen in the past. First of all, what's there every day is our state-by-state accounting of whether the SABER membership exists in the state. So we take a look at any of these. You see we've got Alaska's pending, and Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado are all active participants. But this gives anybody who wants to check and see whether they're getting the latest information from SABER, accurate information. You also see, though, that there are a couple of different sources of information that are there every day. One of the best we consider what we call a bellwether. That is, they are out there all the time, and the first indicators of a problem come from these companies. Walmart happens to be one of them, and you see the little Walmart logo there in New Mexico. If I click on that, you get the pop-up, which you get for all this information. But in fact, we have one of their New Mexico stores happens to be closed right now. This information is coming in that first method that we talked about, getting in an automated fashion. Walmart is one of the few folks, we're working on a couple more, that actually get and provide this automated status information. So we know we've got a couple of closed Walmarts out here just on a regular day, a broken pipe, or there's a traffic accident out front and they've closed the store, or whatever it might be. So the basic SABER map on the SABER website is going to be live every day with certain information that comes in. If a company wants to submit its spreadsheet, that information is there. If they're using the mobile app and they have a store that closes right now and they close that down, it's going to show up here on the SABER map. So every day and in an emergency, and just as a note, in the emergency, we usually remove all the SABER logos there so that you know that real things are happening at that time. You'll see the map, and we'll look at the map a little bit more on the when we take a look at the coronavirus. But one of the new things that, and this was a request, CVS was actually the one who helped us determine what would be best for a business to have added to this map. So up here, the little layers menu there. We have a number of layers of information that are gathered from sources from winter storm information, freezing rain, and these change seasonally. Tropical storms are there, but obviously not having very much. Some significant with winter flooding. So let me just click on one of these, the Weather Service, and here we see we've got all the different indication of what this Weather Service information is. We see all the current warnings that are taking place. Click again, and those get turned off. I want to see, well, actually, let's look at that winter storm. I think we had a few things going there recently. And yeah, this is probability, the red there, at least 70% probability that over this period of time, which is 24 hours, I guess that is, you can expect 4 inches of snow in that area. So if I had businesses that were operating in that area, obviously I'm getting all my reports from the television, but it gives me a chance to have an understanding of the relationship between this snow probability and my stores and other businesses that are either my supply chain or businesses similar to mine. So it's that interaction that we went for in this new version of the SABER map. And with that, let's pop back over here and take a look at Get there, saberspace.org. Now let's take a look at how we've applied a couple of the new technologies in the coronavirus. First of all, there is a version of the SABER map that we are drawing the information from the Johns Hopkins University site that is providing a consolidation of reports from multiple international locations about the coronavirus outbreak. So that's one side that we're going to take a look at. Then we'll take a look at the mobile app that we have made available at no cost that contains the business awareness information that we'll be talking about. And we've done this in cooperation with 3 partners, the National Association of Convenience Stores, FMI, which is the Food Industry Association, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, working with their business disaster organization. You get to this by that saberspace.org, but then a /coronavirus.html. So let's take a look live again at this particular application. And so you see all the different locations of coronavirus that are occurring, and this was as of last night, I think, is the most current information. Actually, we can click on a couple of these. We've got somebody over here in Sri Lanka, and their last update, actually, they haven't updated that one recently, but certainly everything in China, where you see the bigger icons, are updated every day. And yes, here it is, yesterday at 10:33 Greenwich Mean Time. And here, this is in the Guangdong state, 1,347 cases there, 7 deaths, and 851 recovered. Using this as an illustration of the SABER map, if you click on any of these, you get taken directly to that location where we are in here in Algeria, that is. And in Algeria, if we use the pop-up, we're going to see that we've got one case that was just confirmed, and that was only confirmed 2 days ago. So a brand new entry into the system. So clicking on any one of these rows takes us to that location, page to page, to get that information. And moving across, we see information about the last update, the source subscription. And you see this is the information that would typically be part of a SABER report. Priority needs, the impact, facility damage. We're not getting that out of the coronavirus, but the rest of the incident information fits well into the SABER map. So this is available. It's up on the website. You can come in and look at it at any time. But the more valuable information is going to be part of enrolling to get access to the SABER map, or sorry, the SABER app, which you're seeing over here on the left-hand side. As a member of any one of the associations, if you click on Food Industry Association logo, what you get is their own registration site that is going to be part of the Food Marketing Institute was their old name. We need to change that. And put you into the category of their member looking at the SABER coronavirus awareness. Lots of future things are going to happen. So by registering, you're going to be first in line to get additional information and tools that FMI and SABER will be producing in the months to come. We come back here and go off to the NACS one. Same thing. Over here I've got where as a NACS member I can enroll, be subset into the NACS coronavirus awareness organizations. And if you are, you can imagine, if you are part of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce organization, you can go in and use that as well. Registering, it's very simple. You're going to put in a username and password, your name, email, phone number, organization, and register. When you register, you will then go into either the App Store if you're using Apple, or the Google Play Store if you're using Google Play. And just clicking on any one of these, it takes you directly to the Spot on Response Google Play Store to be able to install that app. And you see here, it's already installed on my system. And you then, on your app, go in and pick up the recently installed Spot on Response tool. And it will take you to a login where you put your username and password, and that gets you to this screen. So on my app, I've got two components to it. One of them is the status map, and that status map is exactly what we saw just a minute ago. Same thing as is over here on the website with all the same capabilities. I can look at the United States. I can look more broadly around the world and see what's happening. I get the same, just come over here in the US and click on any one of these points there. So I get that happened to be the general one in the United States. Reporting is interesting. Just as a sidelight, there are 41 cases that have come from the Diamond Princess, but we don't know where they are. None of the reporting knows where they are, except that there have been 3 Air Force bases or 3 military bases that have been set up. Lackland, I went out in California, and I'm forgetting where the other ones are. But they have not distinguished how many patients are at each one of them. So we've got a general number for the country. If I come in here on the app, much as on the other one, if I scroll from left to right, I'm going to see the changed movement of the stores that are there. I can scroll north and south. I can change my number of entries, and I want to see 100 of them there. So now I have 100 that are sorted in my list here. And just to show you a couple other features, the search. Same things if I want to see any of these overlays, if I want to see all the fire detections that occurred in the last 24 hours, you can see whether fires have occurred anywhere near your store. So combination of elements there on the map. But let's go back now, and this is really where the critical information is, because this is what we're collecting using us and our business partners. And the focus here is on business information. There's some health and warnings, but we're not really, that you get them everywhere. You get them on the news. So we've got a little bit from the World Health Organization here and the Center for Disease Control. But where we focus on anything on health, our goal is to be on employee personal health. So these are from the Center for Disease Control about preparing your home, what to do if you're sick, what you need to know. So things that are important for your employees to be able to maintain their operations. But where we really focus is in business preparedness. You see here, we've got lots of information. And the goal is to provide the kinds of things that will be valuable to a business to understand what's going on. And I'm going to pick one here that we have. This District of Columbia has a fact sheet. When you click on that, it gets downloaded, and I thought that was a PDF viewer, so let's do this one. And there you get to see the novel coronavirus. And when you view these, it's going to be in whatever tool you have set up to view on your app. So that's why they're all going to be a little bit different, but very specific information for business that happen to have come from the District of Columbia's Emergency Management Organization. So that could be appropriate for you to do. We've got some news information here that is being collected by folks who think that it's valuable. This one, for example, is European businesses are starting to work from home from 2 days ago. And a influenza pandemic response plan from an organization in Canada, so that we're able to take a look at all the pieces that are allowing us to get a better idea of the business elements that are associated with this. Let's take a look and see whether we got any other ones here. Yeah, here, oh, well, here's pandemic flu continuity planning as part of, let's see, this is a link. Sometimes they're documents, sometimes they're links, but it's a major corporation that has put together this paper specifically already in business continuity in Asia. So you're starting to get an idea of people who've been looking at this for a little bit longer, maybe a couple weeks longer than we have, to understand the kinds of planning that is taking place there. And let's see, what else do we have? One on shipping, one on Wells Fargo, possible changes in how we work is an article. There's the influenza checklist for business from the United Kingdom. So our goal is to try to, oh, here's a county. I'm not sure I've seen the county one, so let's see. All right, this is downloading. It's a file, and yeah, it's a spreadsheet, or a document coming out of this county, recommendations to their businesses on what it is that they should be looking at. And so trying to pull all this information together. We're doing that at a first level of saying, okay, we've seen this. It seems to be credible based on our business and emergency management experience. We're sharing it with you on that basis. But there's a second level to all this that is very important for us to talk about. And I'm going to just pull this slide up here, and we'll come back. I'll open this up for questions in a little bit. But pull this slide back up here because it tells you how to go to get it. But most importantly, what we're suggesting here is that this is an information partnership. We've already started discussions with a couple of the associations about convening a group that will take a look at this kind of business information, practical business information that we're gathering from all over the world, and say, you know what, this is good, this is good, this is good. Maybe there is a joint publication that we come out with saying, you know what, here are things that we draw on from all over the world that can help our businesses operate during this kind of an emergency. Our businesses protect their business operations, and our businesses protect their employees so that they can maintain all of that business operation. So what's available for you today and what we want to ask of you is where I want to focus. Clearly the SABER map that's always there every day in emergencies, the expressing status and needs. You saw the Walmart current information that's out there now, as well as the hazard overlays. Secondly, our new initiative in the coronavirus business awareness, partnering with convenience stores, the food folks, and U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation. This has resulted in the special SABER map, the coronavirus map that we just took a look at. Encourage you to enroll, get the SABER mobile app, because that's the way the information comes. Lots of pretty pictures on the map, but getting that information is critical, and as I'll mention in a minute, the partnership. So that mobile app gives you the portable coronavirus awareness, but then the My Plans document repository and a links library. As I said, minimum public news. What we want to do is maximum focus on business impact and preparedness. And as just sort of a sidelight, there's special focus on Hong Kong because Hong Kong, as one of the most important business communities in the world, is faced with the coronavirus right now. And my son and daughter-in-law happen to live there. So in addition to all the issues of coronavirus in general, we have a personal connection to it. And the two of them are serving as sort of eyes and ears over there to help report on business impacts that they're seeing, mostly by pointing out things that have been written, published, or distributed in some form or another about how businesses in Hong Kong are performing and preparing in the midst of this problem, because my son and daughter-in-law have been wearing masks for every time they go out of the house now for 5, 6, 7 weeks. I guess it is 6 weeks now. So they're living with this event that's going on right now, and I think that may be able to provide some special insight for us as we look at business information from around the world to distill it potentially into good guidance for companies here. So that brings me to the last point, and that's what we need from you. Would love if it were voluntary and you could pick up the phone and give me a call and say, I just want to chat with you a little bit about what we're doing, what we're thinking about, why we're not doing anything now, because everybody's concerned about spreading of rumors and false concerns among people when there are only a few cases in the country. But getting aware and getting prepared is absolutely critical, because it's not going to go away, as we have heard from all the scientists recently. We're also going to be putting out a little survey to our membership in the near future. We're also going to be reaching out and working with the associations that I mentioned and conducting calls specifically to vet some of the information. So I'm going to be inviting you to join those calls. So it's an information partnership. I think we have a unique ability cutting across all the different disciplines that we do and standing right between business and government. SABER has an opportunity here, and we hope that we can contribute something as part of it. So with that, let me say the microphone is open. I did see a question here that popped up because it seems we could increase participation by asking InfraGard participation, by asking InfraGard members to participate. I think that's a really good idea. I personally don't have any good contacts in there. If any of you do have InfraGard contacts, that would be excellent. And that can be on, the local organization, local, regional organizations, state organizations, or at the national level. But we would very much appreciate a link in there, and appreciate, let's see, that was, where was it here? Oh, anyhow, thanks. Roger, that was Roger. But I am going to open up all the microphones, so if you don't want to say something, make sure you're muted right now, or otherwise we're going to have all sorts of noise coming in. But let's turn that on, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them.
Hey, Jim.
Yes, gotcha, Roger. Is that Roger, or who is that?
No, this is Casey.
Good. Thanks for calling in today.
Sure. I'm sorry if I missed it earlier, but how often is the Johns Hopkins information updated?
At least once a day they've done it, and sometimes they do an update late at night. We usually grab it first thing in the morning.
Great, thank you. I was just curious, how hard it would be to keep up with that flow as the events are evolving.
Yeah, it's not difficult. You'll see if you go on, when you look on there, there are some of those that have not published an update. Some of the sources have not published an update for a couple of weeks, meaning there's no change. But Johns Hopkins is gathering information on a daily basis, really a continual basis. And whenever they have a good set of information, they update it. So you can consider SABER being updated once a day.
That's great. Thanks.
Anybody else with questions? If you do, raise your hand. I'm just unmuting a couple of you as you go along. So Frank or Ed, any questions? Whoever logged in as Fusion Center, or Inez, how about you? You got anything you'd, actually, you're self-muted.
Some way to get it back.
Good.
And John Ryan, is that John Ryan from Ireland?
That's correct.
Oh, good for you to call in again. It's been a while. Good to hear from you.
Thanks for the invitation.
I don't believe that Ireland itself has any coronaviruses. Do you have any information on that?
No, yeah.
Down there, I'm house shopping. I'm trying to buy a house, and there's been several that I've walked in, and they have like the soundproof tiling up on the ceilings and stuff, and I'm just like, this is perfect. It's not pretty, but it's perfect.
All right. Good. All right. Anybody else? Raise your hand.
You don't want to hold it.
Hey, this is Bill. Can you hear me, Bill, from DCH SEMA?
Yes, we can.
Hey, I just have a quick question, and this might be, I guess, a basic question for others on the line, but is it possible to get an actual map service of the businesses that are open or closed nationwide? Does it require being a member? Is there a cost involved? Or is the only way to get at the data through the map that you were showing earlier?
Yeah, we can provide a map service. We team with Virtual USA, the National Institute for Hometown Security, or for National Information Sharing Consortium, and they currently publish the regular SABER map, but I'm going to reach out to them and see whether they would grab this other stream of data for the coronavirus. So that's a very good question, and we should be able to provide that. We do provide, and you can grab a GeoJSON feed, and you can put that into your own service. You have to update it daily just because of the way ArcGIS is. The NISC and FEMA are both providers of it as a formal feature service, but they're getting the regular SABER data, not the coronavirus, but I will look into that right away.
Okay, and so I would have to go through one of these other groups in order to get the service, so FEMA maybe, or?
Yes, if we set that up, it's both of them, or at least the National Information Sharing Consortium is a publicly available on your ArcGIS, ArcGIS, yes.
Okay, sure. No,
Yeah.
that sounds good. I'll look into that. The
Yeah.
NISC might be a good source for that. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and actually, if you would shoot me an email, I happen to have right over here a note. Maybe we can communicate on that and make sure you get set up.
Okay, that's great. Thanks a lot.
Sure thing.
All right.
Let's, Bill, I think I see your hand up. Bill, I think you should be open now for...
Oh, that you got me already. This is Bill over at DCH SEMA.
Oh, okay. All right.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Christine, you have put a question in there, and let's see. Maybe in business, I've got a couple. Christine, I'm going to do yours. First, will the slides be loaded on SABER and where we might find them? Thanks for holding it. Okay. Yes, we'll have the slides, and we're doing a recording. So both of those will be up and available very shortly. And coronavirus map service, yes, that definitely can do that. Mussy, I think, asked that question. So yes, you just heard the discussion about the map service. If you would send me an email also, we can connect directly, because you can grab the GeoRSS source and pull that in anytime you want to while we're coordinating with the couple of organizations that do provide the formal map service. You are open. If you unmute yourself, you can, on the screen, you can ask your question. Otherwise, going once, going twice. Thanks for tuning in today. Really appreciate it. And remember, this is a partnership. We need to be ready together for the things that are happening, and I need to know what's happening in the field. So appreciate your continual exchange on this, and we'll talk to you next month at the next webinar. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.